Good morning, and welcome to the Motivational Devotional, where we are merging motivation and spirituality to create a daily dose of confident positivity. Take what you can from this morning's podcast and transform your day by being spiritually and positively motivated. On hot August days, do you long for a snowy winter day? Okay, maybe not. I mean, it's hard to even imagine this time of year, isn't it? I was going to use the analogy of riding a disc down a snowy hill in January, but we can go with riding a disc behind a ski boat. That works, right? So, whether you've actually done it or not, imagine yourself on a disc on a lake with a rope attached to a ski boat, and you're not going crazy fast, just fast enough to not sink. Water is hissing past you beneath your disc. You aren't thinking about the lake shore, and you aren't thinking about the water 5 feet or 10 feet or 50 feet behind you. You are thinking 100% about holding onto that rope and making sure you are zipping along. You are in the zone, in the moment. I have tried many ways over the years to explain what it's like to live in the now moment. And that example, whether a disc on water or on snow, is a great way to get the concept. Instead of cruising along on top of the water, which can be scary for first-timers, imagine that you are now sitting on the same disc, but in the middle of a meadow. You don't have to worry about staying above the ground because you aren't going to sink. But can your imagination hold that moment of sitting on the disc without concern for the meadow around you, no concern for the few minutes before or hours before, or what you may be doing in 5 minutes, just the same way as when you were on the water? Now, let your imagination take it further, and if possible, you are sitting on that disc while driving your car. Okay, stretching it some, but go with me here. The same practice applies. You are only mindful of the disc, your place on it, and steering your vehicle safely. You don't have to worry about your destination because that will take care of itself as long as you drive the right way. You certainly don't have to worry about where you just were because that's in the past and done. A side note here. People stress about not being focused on events in the future because they don't want to overlook responsibilities or appointments or forget things they're expected to do. Relax. You won't forget them. This isn't a practice that avoids your responsibilities in the world. You will find that no matter how many minutes you spend in this mindful state of right here, right now, you will not forget or overlook the things you need to do. In fact, you will most likely find that you are able to be at your appointments on time more often and meet your responsibilities with less fussing about them. One last part of our imagination exercise is to imagine the things you might be doing today, but imagine that while doing them, you are sitting or standing on your imaginary ski disc. As long as you are on that disc, you are mindful of your here and now, mindful of your now moment. Everything all day is a now moment. Recognize that no matter where you go, what you do, you are never not in your now moment, and yet your day has followed the chronology of time, and you have been navigating right here, right now, as time has passed by like the water on the lake. I confess I am no expert at this, which is why we call it a practice. We are always practicing being mindful of being in the now moment. I have been able to do it for extended periods, though, and it is truly like navigating your ski disc, microscopic moment by microscopic moment throughout a day, and it is very much like skiing on a disc behind a boat. If you do this, you will find that you pay crystal clear attention to conversations, to the work you do, to the road and traffic as you drive, and to the important people in your life. I call the whole process and practice navigating now. Being conscious of my now moment, that instant of right here, right now that is actually not bound by space and time, I realize that that now moment is eternally present as now, whether the clock says 8 o'clock a.m. or 2:57 p.m. Time is irrelevant to now because now is actually eternity. Now that's a heavy thought, isn't it? Let me say it again because it's a really cool concept and it is 100% true. Time is irrelevant to now because now is actually eternity. I endeavor to stay focused in the present, right here, right now, as if it is a canoe or a kayak or that ski disc floating and sometimes screaming along through my day. At times my journey is like a lazy river, and other times I careen over rapids and staying mindful of now instead of letting hectic events and circumstances derail my focus onto fear or frustration or time-driven anxiety. I know that the only way I have power in the middle of it is to stay mindful of my now moment and navigate it through the rough stuff. Never let that other stuff capsize your ride. Navigating now is a practice any of us can learn because all of creation is conspiring in your favor. Trust that the universe always has your back and you will never capsize. Eckhart Tolle wrote, "Time isn't precious at all because it is an illusion. What you perceive as precious is not time, but the one point that is out of time, the now. That is precious indeed. The more you are focused on time, past and future, the more you miss the now. The most precious thing there is." Thank you for taking the time to listen today. Please help keep this podcast going by following the Motivational Devotional Facebook page, following @Threefold-Way Radio on Twitter, and sharing the written format of today's message from motivational-devotional.com on your social media. I am deeply grateful for your support, and thank you for letting Motivational Devotional be part of your journey. Peace out. See you tomorrow. Motivational Devotional is a production of Threefold Way Radio, LLC.